The preliminary hearing to determine whether or not there's enough evidence to put singer David on trial for the alleged murder, dismemberment, and sexual abuse of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez wrapped its third day this afternoon. Today, the deputy medical examiner took the stand and testified that Celeste's remains only weighed 71 pounds during the autopsy. The remains were severely decomposed, which can complicate the examination. And what is truly heartbreaking, they indicated that Celeste, this child, had braces. But there was also a lot of other important testimony, too. There was a DNA analyst that testified that DNA consistent with Celeste was found in multiple locations, something the defense challenged with their own theory of how that may have happened. We also learned more about how detectives tracked David's alleged movement using his data from his cell phone and Tesla, what that may have revealed. There's a lot to get into. So joining me now live from Los Angeles, we have NewsNation national correspondent Nancy Liu and Lauren Conlin, contributor for LA Magazine, who has also been covering this story from the very beginning, was inside the courtroom. So happy to have both of you here. Nancy, what stuck out to you the most from today's testimony? If you ask me, I think learning about what Celeste was wearing when she died and that soiled clothes, it was pretty awful.
Yeah, and we heard from multiple criminologists today, and those images of the soiled clothes, they were removed from Celeste's body parts, and it included a tube top, Victoria's Secret's thong panties, as well as Skechers socks and leggings. But we also heard about the DNA, her DNA, found all over David's garage. There were the images of the pool, the blue plastic pool that everyone has heard about, where David allegedly dismembered her body. We heard testimony about how pieces of plastic recovered from the autopsy matched up to missing pieces of that plastic pool. And Jesse, today I spent a lot of time watching David because I was sitting behind him, and it was just fascinating because he's in his orange jumpsuit, but he's got black glasses on. He's got his arms on the table at times. He's got his arms at his face at times. He almost looks like a college student with his glasses on, and he's studying and looking at everything intently, but showing no emotion.
It's pretty bizarre. It's pretty bizarre, given the substance of this, what this testimony is, and that he's on trial for murder, or potentially will be on trial for murder. And by the way, they talked about DNA consistent with Celeste. Blood stain in the Tesla, blood stain on a mat from a garage, stain on a rowing machine, stain on a charger, stain on a green tarp, hand wipes. Lauren, let me go to you, the deputy medical examiner. What did we learn? What did we not learn? Do we know cause, manner of death from this witness? And I also understand Celeste's family left when this testimony was going down.
So I got to tell you, he was only on the stand for about 5 minutes before court was adjourned for the day. So it was very, very brief. He did indicate everything you said. Celeste weighed 71 pounds when her remains were identified. He actually referred to them as markedly decomposed, and he explained that the condition they were in severely interfered with the autopsy examination, which made me a little bit nervous. He also said that he did observe the evidence of trauma to the body that was consistent with dismemberment. And then he also observed metal hardware in her mouth, which can also be known as braces. And again, it was heartbreaking. I mean, I think I said this to you the other night. I can't help at times but just look over at her family, and it just makes you feel awful. I mean, awful. It's indescribable.
It's unthinkable. It's unthinkable. Lauren, just sticking with you for a second on the defense. They had room to go here, right, in terms of the DNA that Nancy was describing, right? I mean, how are they cross-examining these witnesses regarding the DNA? And David's DNA didn't really come up that much, right?
No, so David's DNA was actually found on a garbage bag specifically, but there was also this garbage bag in particular. There were 4 different types of DNA, 2 being male DNA, one of the males being David. So that was quite interesting. But I think the defense really just honed in on the fact that the science of DNA. Well, it is very easy to transfer DNA. You know, I could touch this podium and my DNA is on it. They also talked about the fact that you don't actually know when the DNA was placed on certain items or how it was placed there.
Right.
So, I mean, there was a lot of time spent on that and spent on the science, but it's also interesting because there's no real conclusive answer. They kind of sat there and asked these questions until the witness was like, yeah, it's possible.
Right, right. And it's kind of the building blocks of what we could see at a trial.
Right.
Nancy, I thought the digital data was very significant. David's Tesla cell phone, what did that reveal?
Yeah, we saw that there were cell phone records and tower records, which showed that the Tesla and the cell phone moved after Celeste's death. There were 3 different trips up to the Santa Barbara area, and the defense tried to chip away at the accuracy of cell phone tower data, how close it really is to whatever you're trying to track. But the detective testified that it is within, I think, 0.8 miles. So, yeah, but in question is like, what happened during those 3 trips to Santa Barbara? And the defense also tried to raise doubt about who was in the car, who had the phone, who was driving. So, yeah,
well,
they're
and remember,
trying to chip away.
They say that her passport card was thrown out on that trip, right? That's what they seem to suggest. Lauren, before we let you go, somebody who's been on this program a number of times, Steve Fisher, a private investigator who's been looking into this case, some drama with him in the courtroom, right? What happened?
That was so crazy, Jesse. It happened within the first, I want to say, 10 minutes of court. The prosecutor, Beth Silverman, said to the judge, I want to put this on record that a grand jury witness is in the courtroom. And she kind of said that he did something else. I couldn't really make out what she was saying, but she said not only that, but he also was caught in the lobby talking to the Rivas family attorney, and he shouldn't be doing that. And he'll post about it because he posts every day. And Steve stood up and he just said, you know, Your Honor, I just want to put it on the record that the family attorney approached me, not the other way around. And then Patrick Steinfeld stood up and said, yes, Your Honor, that's correct. I did approach him. It was a 15-second conversation, and that was it. And Steve handled himself with grace and left the courtroom. But it was quite shocking, I will say that.
You know, I always read Steve's posts on X, and I knew that he always talked about some sort of tension with Beth Silverman. So this is really an interesting update. We'll see where it goes. I appreciate you both. One thing I will add to this, though, is there's people who say, well, there seems like a lot of evidence about the cover-up and potentially the sexual abuse. What about the murder? Let's look out for the medical examiner's testimony about cause and manner of death. I think that's going to be key. Nancy, Lou, Lauren Conlin, thank you both so much. All right.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.